Hello. So this is my home studio. It's my little setup. I've been sort of like collecting bits over the years. Like collecting instruments and what have you, just to try and make sure I've got as many sounds as possible to access. So when you're thinking of ideas and things, you might just have that sound in your head, and you've got plenty of options to play with. I like to keep it sort of nice and small and compact, which I think is good for any sort of home studio. Because that way, when you're working, you can just, if I want to do some organ or some keys, I can just spin around, plug a cable in, and then you're sort of there, really. We've got like the vinyl player there, so if we need to sample anything, we can do that really quickly. Um, Always try and keep my mic plugged in, my vocal mic, just in case, you just never know when like a melody idea is going to come up or anything like that. So it's just nice to keep that there plugged in so you can spin around and just record that really quickly. I suppose I'll tell you a bit about like these keyboards. I think this is the first one I got. This is a Hammond organ, this one. And I picked it up in a sort of charity shop in a local town to me. It was there for £50. I remember seeing it and seeing this Hammond, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I know it's like a good make or it's a good thing. And then sort of like, from the first time like we switched it on, we asked if we could have a go, and I just sort of like fell in love with the sound. It sort of has this kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog sort of sound to me, like that sort of kind of glitchy. I don't know if it's like maybe like a synth trying to be an organ or something. I'm not quite sure. I'm not entirely sure which Hammond one it is, but I just really love the sound of it. It always quite that inspirational to me. Like this one again, picked it up. I think it was just like an ad in the paper. Somebody was selling it, and it's sort of just like a Yamaha organ keyboard, but it has like a particular brass sound that I really like. Just absolutely love that sound. Again, it was, I don't know, maybe like 50 quid, something like that. So for that price, it's worth it for like that one sound. But I think it's got like kind of like that corny thing, but when you like process it and get some distortion and stuff on it, it sounds really cool. So like that's that sort of thing. Got like the guitars, Gretsch guitars, are my thing at the minute. The reason I got into these was I was working. So when you're in high school or like secondary school in the UK, I think it's like your last year or the year before the last one, year 10 or 11. Everyone goes off to do a week work experience. And at the time, I was like a big metalhead, playing, loved all my metal music and that. And I got the chance to work at a local music store called Electro Music, which is in Doncaster. It's a shame because it was an amazing store, but it has unfortunately shut down now. But over the years, I bought loads of stuff from there. I think like all my first gear and stuff I got from there. But anyway, I was working there, helping out and things, cleaning guitars and helping set them up and stuff. And at the time, I was looking for, it was like an Ibanez. It was like an X-shaped, proper metal-y, like crazy looking guitar. And I just seen this Gretsch guitar. It was this one, but in black. And it was like nothing I'd ever seen. It just looked so classy to me, like, I don't know, like a sort of American 50s race car or something like that. It just had this sort of really classy look to it. And I thought, actually, I really wouldn't mind to go on that. So I tried it out and then just didn't look back. Eventually, got the money together and got one ordered, but in gold. And that was, I guess, the start of like that journey, really. But yeah, again, just never really gone back on them as soon as I've got it. Just love the Gretsch guitars, really. So like again, I'm a bit of a collector of things anyway, just in general. But you know, over the years, been collecting some guitar pedals and things. Got all different ones now. Got like a couple of cool fuzz pedals and distortion, a proper delay there, and reverb and stuff. So I think this one, was based on a tone bender, which is a fuzz circuit from the 60s. This one, but this is a modern version. A guy called Blammo Electronics from Portland in America make them. I think they're all hand built. But I seen a demo of it online, and I just really loved the sound. It's sort of like, it's got like that 60s fuzz thing, but it's just a bit more kind of sort of chaotic and modern, I guess. I'll give you a little demo of what it sounds like. Just like that kind of super distorted sound. This is the Rat pedal. A number of years ago, I was in a band and I was recording in Leeds, and the guy I was recording with suggested that I should probably get a Rat, because it was sort of like, he reckoned it would really suit the way I played and my sound. So I went into I was looking for one. I went into this music shop in Scunthorpe in England, north of England, and just to see if they had one. I just wanted like the normal one, and the only one they had was this big box version, which is, I think, is like based on the original circuit or something. So you know, I tried it out and just sort of like fell in love with it, and that's sort of like probably like my main distorted sound at the minute. That's the sound I use for exhibition on the guitar, so when you're listening to that, I think it's that, maybe the blues driver. But I learned something quite cool about it, and a few years, probably about a year or so back now. But if you take the back off the Rat pedals, you can actually see when they were made on the circuit board. So I had a little look at it, and I think when I bought it, I kind of knew it was old in a way, but it was like a brand new old thing, if that makes sense. So I looked in it, and it's got and it's 1991. It was made, so that's like the year I was born. So I thought that was a bit bizarre. It must have been sitting in that shop for a long time. Onto my amps. I've got my orange AD30. It's sort of like orange, like in my opinion, just the best amps in the world. Really, I think they're brilliant. Got this. I think it's like a 2005 model, something like that. And that was like my first sort of like really amazing amp, I think, that I got. You know, geeked it absolutely loads. I've got like this, which is like an Ampeg 8x10 cabinet speaker system. I actually got it donated to me as a band from Leeds Bradford way, called Embrace, and I think it had been sat in like one of their studios or like a storage place for a long time, and we were just going to get rid of it, but Mickey plays the keys and produces for him and stuff. He just said, I was on tour with him, and he says he started telling me about it, and he said he was either going to go to the tip or, you know, get a new home sort of thing. So I said, well, yeah, I'll take it. I was like, you know, don't get rid of it. I'll keep it, and I'll see what I can do. So it's not working so well at the minute. Needs a bit of fixing. So as you can see, it's been sort of heavily toured. I think you were telling me, I think it's like even been to like places like Japan and stuff over its lifetime. So eventually I'm gonna recover it. I've seen like this really cool like snakeskin looking cover that you can get. So I'm gonna do that. Maybe mess about with a few different style of speakers in it. Because I mean, it's knackered now, so even if I knacker it more, it doesn't really matter, does it? So that's that. I mean, it's not working, but it looks cool, and people come in, I think it's a bit like, whoa. So the other day, So when I use a lot of acoustic guitars in chorus sections, but I usually find myself sort of using a capo and playing quite high up, because with my music we've got a lot of keys and synths, and sometimes you can be in the same register as the guitars, and they don't really they kind of mask each other, and they can kind of, they don't stand out all the time. So that's the reason I sort of was always playing high up and with a capo, so they didn't share the same range. But then I found out about these strings, and I think they're called the Nashville tuning. It was a video of David Gilmour I was watching, and it's basically the top strings are the thinner and they're tuned up a higher octave, but it gives you this sort of gives you that sort of really chimey sound, which is what I'm always trying to get when I'm recording the acoustic. I really like the pick attack. I use it almost like a percussion instrument in a way. So yes, I thought, I've just seen them. I thought I'm going to try them strings, because maybe that's what I'm looking for, and it's just worked out really well. It's got a cool unique sound to it. Yes, I was really happy with that. As it's like a one-off little experiment. It's gone quite well, so we'll keep that on for a bit and see how I get on with it. I've got obviously got the bass here, which is Squire one. Never changed the strings on it. It's a Dimension one, which I think is quite a new model by Squire and Fender. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it is. It's got a cool preamp thing in it, so you can make it sound like vintage or more modern. This is sort of my pride and joy, really. It's the first electric guitar I ever got. For years I've been learning on the acoustic and what have you, and I think my parents at the time, I was probably 7-8 years old, they said, learn on the acoustic for a bit, and if you stick out the guitar, we'll get you an electric one. So eventually, after a year or so, or maybe 2 years of really practicing hard, I got to go to electro music again and buy my first electric guitar. And we had a little band in primary school. It's your junior age, and we used to do gigs at the morning assemblies, usually sort of covering Blink-182. I think I did a Manic Street Preachers song once, and then I definitely remember doing my own composition, which was just sort of 2 notes repeated for about 10 minutes, which all the kids kind of politely sat through it and clapped at the end. But yeah, so it's just sort of I don't know, it holds loads of memories. I mean, I don't know if you can see, but here at one point I decided to try and make 2 single coils into a humbucker. That as a kid I didn't realise that's just not how it works whatsoever. So it's lived a life. It's definitely seen it, but I like to keep it up because it's just a good memory. It just brings things back. It's kind of where I started, really, with the lead guitar and what have you. So yeah, that's the PV. This here, I got this. A good friend of mine's borrowed it to me. It's a Watkins Copycat, and it's one of the original sort of tape echoes delay things. I think they made out of the 60s or 70s. It's one of the first ones, and it's just got this really cool lo-fi vintage sound to it. And unfortunately, normally there's a tape running around there, but I was probably about, I don't know, a bit ago, I was running some vocals through it, and just as I was sort of recording it back into the computer, it was all sounding amazing. This really cool, fast slapback echo, a bit like John Lennon-y sort of thing. And then next thing you know, the tape snapped, so that didn't sound too good. But I don't think it had ever actually been changed in its whole life, really. Got the Vox, which is my sort of clean, what I really like for clean sounds on the guitar. It's got an amazing tremolo system on it, and reverb, spring reverb, proper. Yes, a British make box, brilliant, like clean tones. So yeah, I think that's about it really for now on the studio. But yeah, thank you. Cheers.